Hey everyone, it's Christine here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to this video on the full moon total lunar eclipse in Taurus. By the time you get this, it probably will have already happened, but the effects of this, the Scorpio lunation will linger on for days, weeks, and months to come. So I'm cool with it being a little bit late. But this full moon total lunar eclipse, is happening at 16 degrees and 1 minute of Scorpio on Tuesday, November 8th at 6:02 a.m. New York City time for reference, Eastern time, I should say. So for many of you watching this probably will have already happened, and many of you have been already feeling these effects leading up to this lunation, and will be feeling the effects the rest of this week, and also seeing events, situations, things transforming around you and within you. And what's interesting is we have a lot of intense energy because of the number of planets involved, and also aspects. And I don't want to get too much into that and derail, because I really wanted to talk about some of the things that I intuited from this. But I'll simply say this eclipse is occurring in the 8th house, right, in the earth sign of Taurus, but it is activating a lot of energy from its axis, its polar sign of Scorpio. And we have at this time Mercury, Venus, the south node, and the sun in Scorpio. In addition, we have the north node and the moon in Taurus, and these planets are squaring Saturn, which is in Aquarius. On top of that, Uranus is conjunct the moon and in Taurus as well. And so it's bringing up a lot of themes dealing with, obviously, Taurus and Scorpio, about value or worth, abundance, our physical and emotional stability, as well as scorpionic themes of power, of transformation, of death, rebirth, rejuvenation, of sexuality and sexual power, intimacy, and shared resources and investment. So depending on where this eclipse is happening in your house, I'm having trouble speaking, you all. Depending on where this eclipse is happening in your natal chart and with which house, it's going to impact you in different ways. And what I can say is that this is going to bring a catalyst. It's a harbinger for a lot of changes, a lot of transformations happening within and outside of us. And I feel like over the weeks we've been seeing that with releases happening, especially when it comes to healing, a lot of shadow elements, and also just traumas coming up for clearing, contracts ending as well, and a lot of focus on relationships. And these are going to obviously change the dynamics in your life. They may change your path forward. You may be revealed, or things may be revealed to you that illuminate something very different than what you had planned, right? There's a saying, of course I don't remember it, it's about making plans and God laughing at you because you try to make a plan. Anyways, this is really about releasing control over what you think should happen or will happen. And I say this with a lot of maybe caution, but also compassion, because during times of uncertainty, it's easy to want to control something. And this lunation especially is teaching us how to remain very grounded and stable while processing the depth of our emotions with Scorpio, because we have very competing energies with Scorpio and Taurus. But it's about not letting that subsume us and consume us. It's not about drowning in the waves or in the abyss of the dark oceans, in the trenches, right? It's about walking through that and fighting through it. Not necessarily making it difficult for us, but using that energy we have to continue going forward with resolve and with strength. Because some of what's coming up, some things that are going to be ending or that have ended in your life, are not easy. Because again, endings, they entail, processing emotions and grief, and it's not always easy, especially if these things happen suddenly. And with Uranus in the picture here, Uranus is the planet of breakdowns and breakthroughs, revolution, and restructuring. And it's because Uranus sees something better. The energy brings to light, like, you know what, this isn't working or hasn't been working. There's something better that is coming. And so sometimes I get in my head, I get like the wheel card of the major arcana for tarot combined with the tower card. You know, sometimes we realize, oh crap, something sudden has happened, and at that moment we may denote that situation or ending as bad, when in reality, and when we look at it in retrospect, it wasn't bad. It was just a change that needed to happen, generally out of our control. Perhaps we weren't paying attention to signs, but a change that needed to happen for our highest good and to redirect us, to put us back on our path. Because some of us may have veered off, some of us were scared, we were dealing with emotions, we got sidetracked, who knows? For a variety of reasons, things change along the way. And it's really easy to stay in our bubble, right? In our comfort zone. And so this is almost like it's almost like the universe putting us under a cold shower for those that don't do cold showers. If you do it, this may be like, oh, okay, cool. But I kept getting a laundry metaphor and a cold water metaphor as well. It's almost like when you leave your laundry in the dryer or even in the washing machine, and it's been days, and it's just like the universe is giving you hints. Get your clothes, get them, either dry them or hang them up to be dried, and you don't. And then all of a sudden you go to get it, your clothes either smell, or the machine broke, or stop working, or the dryers doesn't work, and then the universe is like, I told you so. It's that type of energy, that type of effect, because now we have several options. We rewash the laundry, and then we immediately hang it up. We get rid of the dryer that doesn't work, especially if it can't be fixed, and we get a new one. And obviously expend more financial resources to take care of that. Or we just completely disregard both, and we're like, whatever, it happened, it happened. But this is all to say that whatever happens, things are happening to help you on your path. And it may not seem like that at the moment. And that's the most important thing to consider and something to reflect upon, because this Taurus Scorpio axis that we are on until July 2023, with the remaining fall eclipse happening in October of 2023, it's here to remind us about making sure that our values are in alignment to our belief systems, our goals, where we want to go in life. And every so often there are checks, right? Like midpoint checks from the universe, the eclipses, to make sure that we are right on path. And sometimes when we aren't, and we still haven't paid attention to our intuition, the messages we've been receiving, and the signs, the universe is like, that's it. So I know with the energies, it's really easy to fear this, because Uranus rules over the nervous system and electricity. And if any of you have been feeling like, all I can really pinpoint, this eclipse, I felt the energy is a lot stronger than the partial solar eclipse we had in Scorpio 2 weeks back. But this eclipse, I felt like buzzed. I felt like I was high strung, like I drank a lot of coffee, like 10 espressos. I felt charged up, and this happened the day before the eclipse. Some of you may have been feeling it leading up to it. And anxiety as well, and just having trouble just staying calm. And I know I had to do extra exercise to combat this as well, because I was feeling it in my body, especially in my nervous system. So take extra care and be very mindful about that. If you feel out of breath, if you're feeling anxious and you're like, wait, I don't really deal with anxiety, you may be absorbing others and just feeling the effects that this planet and also this eclipse is having because of the supercharged energy and the potency. Be mindful too of overcommitting yourself during this week. And I would say even in the next couple of weeks until the new moon that we have, take some time to rest, to take care of your nervous system. If you're feeling a little bit on edge, find ways to soothe and nurture. That's going to be key to helping remain emotionally stable and grounded, and also regulated. Any other topics? No, I don't have anything else to add about that. We'll jump into the 3 things to know. There were 3 things that I intuited, and it was interesting what I got, because there's so much hype And I know there's lore, I would say folklore around eclipses, simply because there's a lot of changes. And me thinking back, there's always been some ending in November for me. And for me, I can sense things like that too. And I feel like everyone at this point is at this same energetic wavelength where you can sense something's about to end, but you may not know quite what it is, and you want to start something. So diving into the 3 things to know. I got feelings with values. It's different to just state your values and say, this is what I value right now in this season of my life. This is what's important to me. This is what I am prioritizing and how I am aligning my goals and my life to move forward. It's another thing to really feel them. And that's what I feel like this lunation is calling, and what I have strongly been feeling, because my heart has been activated and expanding a lot during this time. And I've been working on my heart chakra in particular, especially with my own healing, in the last more than 3 years now. And I work really hard to keep my heart as balanced as possible, simply because of the work that I do, but also because it's the gateway, right? Connecting the lower chakras to the 3 upper chakras. But regardless, the feelings are important, because when we connect to the earth, we help connect to our body, and we connect to our emotions and our feelings. And so when we are not in congruency with what it is that we want to do, and when we take a step back and realize, wait a minute, let me first discern what are my values, because they do change. That's the thing. They could change every year, every season. Sometimes when you get a new job, maybe you expand your family, maybe you get a new pet, or you move in with someone, or you start school, whatever it is, things change. And so you have to update your priorities and also your values. They don't stay static. I know for me, they haven't. They've changed, I would say, maybe every couple of years or so. They've slowly shifted, especially as you connect to maybe your mission, purpose, your destiny, or your North Node, right? My North Node is in Cancer. And so gradually, I finally found myself connecting more towards connections and family. That was really important to me before. No, you never found that on my list of core values. So it's really important in this time to really, really feel and really get deep with them, because it's going to resonate when you can really sense strongly what it is that is important to you. You're going to make that intrinsic connection, energetic connection to yourself, and importantly to your heart, and you're going to feel it in what it is that you do. If, for example, you feel like work is one of your values, but you're not feeling it, or productivity, or whatever other measure, whatever other belief system, or I should say core value that you ascribe to at this point in your life, you're going to feel it. And it's really important to have that synergy between them. Otherwise, when you go forward, you're going to feel like you're not wearing the right shoes. In other words, like you're wearing the wrong size pair of shoes. When our values are aligned to who we are and what matters to us, it's going to be seamless, right? For someone who values creativity, if they're hampered and they are restricted and they're no longer able to have, free time every day to allow their creativity to flow or to pursue certain projects, it's going to affect them, because there's a disconnect in how they're feeling and what it is they're pursuing. So get very clear about that. It kept coming up over and over. It's one thing to write it, it's another thing to actually feel it with the intensity that Scorpio is asking us to dig deep, because I feel like you are going to sense and also see and feel that many times they're not aligned, especially when people are involved in relationships. Point 2, keep your heart open. I got that resoundingly. It could be the influence of Venus. Venus is in Scorpio right now. And I got, the relationships mirror our healing. And it's important to let the pain out, like open the door to your heart, but then keep your heart open. It's almost like some doors, some people, they have houses that have double doors, right? A screen, or maybe an entrance door. I don't know what they're called. And then you have the more secure door out of wood or metal or whatever material it is. It's almost like that with the heart. Some people work to express their pain and then they close it back up. Or anything else that comes and traumatizes them, their heart closes up again, and there's a layer upon layer that hardens around the heart. And it's almost like starting back again, where you have to work at chipping away. It's important right now, especially since we're feeling the throes of relationships in, I would say this week especially, but in this season of Scorpio, and even since August, I've been channeling a lot about relationships, about really getting connected and close with others. And that means keeping your heart open, because if you don't, it's going to be very difficult to connect with someone intimately, to be vulnerable, to be you, and to express yourself. There are a lot of people that are just detached. I'm not talking about practicing detachment. They are just not connected to their heart, to their emotions. They may be unavailable for whatever reason. And sometimes you have layer upon layer. And I know this is, perhaps I'm speaking and making this sound more simplistic than it sounds. And it's not, because there's a lot that goes behind it. Doing your own inner work, your own healing, working with a therapist, whatnot. You know, it depends. Everyone has their own, I'll say, healing toolkit. But the main point of this message that I got was to consistently work on keeping your heart. If it's not for anyone, it's always for you. Because that's going to connect to your feelings and help you to reconcile not only your intuition, your thoughts, your logic, obviously your mind, but also your connection to something greater than you, to your earthly energy centers, right? To the bottom chakras. And so I kept getting heart over and over again. And with a lot of people, I feel like there have been a lot of endings in relationships, and there will be more. And the thing is, because of attachment issues, we tend to hold on to anything, people, places, things, material goods, right? Longer than we need to at times. And that reflects to our love, our quotient, the love quotient that we have, what we've received and how much we've given to ourselves. So it's important to remember, because this goes hand in hand with releasing. Okay, point number 3. I kept getting keys, and I heard keys to your destiny, and I'm like, for real? Okay, so with these changes, there are going to be different circumstances, because I kept seeing like timelines coming up, different routes. It wasn't even different divergent paths, right? Like 2 options. There were several, and it's going to align differently depending on your mindset and your current belief systems. But I heard, keep trying the keys. They won't unlock every door, but try. And I got Fool energy, right? The energy of Aries, Mars. And I know Venus right now is in Scorpio, which is not a fun place for her to be. She's in domicile in Taurus and Libra energy. And so in Scorpio, that is her detriment. She's not exactly comfy and, you know, having a ball. But the thing that it really asks us to in this point is to, again, this goes with the 2 preceding points, because they're very much connected with your values and keeping your heart open. And keep going towards your path, where you may not always feel like you have the answer, but you're being pushed to continue keeping your options open, to continue trying new avenues, to not let yourself get stagnant. And I feel like this is the visionary energy of Uranus, pushing us to expand our bubble, to stretch it a little bit, to do things that are different. Because sometimes we get so rigid in our way of thinking, and we are predisposed to planning things to a T. And I can relate as a type A person. I love to plan. Also Virgo moon. I love to plan things down. I used to color code too. But sometimes things work out differently. And when we just keep open to new opportunities, new ways of thinking and doing, we are surprised by how refreshing it is. It's almost like a fresh mist comes, and you're like, wow, I didn't know that could feel so good. I didn't know that it could show me something different or allow me a little bit more freedom or breathing room. And that's what I'm feeling like these energies are allowing us to do. It's very much connecting to emotions. And with Taurus, yes, it is an earth sign, but it's also ruled by Venus, which really focuses on the heart as well. It's about staying connected to ourselves at all times and regaining our composure and emotional stability within ourselves. I feel like that's where the true power comes from, because with any of these changes that come and the way we're going to see things unfold, it will be, and it is super easy to allow them to affect us in an external way. And I'm not saying skip over processing your emotions, not at all. I'm saying the opposite, actually. Process your emotions. Grieve it. Do whatever you need to do to get through it, right? To go through it. But at the end of the day, it's not about giving your power away to these events and, not realizing that this has, how do I put it? I'm trying to reframe this. It's really not about going into victim mode, right? And it's easy to do. It's really easy, especially if things just suddenly come up. So something else that I channeled too. I channeled the song from the Birds, their rendition, I should say, called Turn, Turn, Turn. And I have the lyrics here in the first paragraph, because I know this excerpts have been rewritten and moved around and come from the a Bible section, a passage, I should say, Ecclesiastes. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, 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 and a time for every purpose under heaven. And if you read the lyrics, and I'll link the song, you will realize that this is very much about transformation, about change, because we have a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to reap. And it's speaking about changes and embracing things, right? Because when you turn, you are essentially like rebirthing, changing, moving. I don't know why I got the song, but for me, it really brought a lot of peace, because this is just the natural flow of life. As if a wave were to come and then we watch it recede back, and then it comes forward and it recedes back. And so remember, with this lunation and the energies that come and the things that start unfolding, your biggest power, your biggest gift, the biggest thing that you'll be able to harness and use during these times is your emotional power, your emotional regulation, I should say, and being able to respond to things that are outside of your control in a way that reflects, I would say, your own essence. And that's going to mean something different for everyone. And it's going to depict to your own work, how much work that you've been doing within your path, inner work, I should say. So I'm gonna leave you with this. I know there's a lot to unpack here. And the biggest advice I could give is again, rest. Let things unfold. Don't stress out. I know there's a lot of folks, doing readings about eclipses. I almost thought about it, and then I realized, no, I feel it induces unnecessary anxiety, because there's a lot of things that you won't be able to plan. And sometimes it's not worth putting that energy on that. It's focused, I feel, on turning that energy towards you and taking care of yourself in the best way possible. So I hope the rest of your day goes well. I hope you're able to find some sort of peaceful stability, and I will see you soon. Take care.